Hello, this is Joe83. This is episode 29 of the My Team Lotus Career Mode, and we're here for round 7 of Season 2, and we're in Monaco, the jewel in the Formula 1 crown, and hopefully we can get a good result to, really make the most of this car, because it's still the second best car, and yeah, around Monaco, the AI historically have been very poor compared to the player, especially players who use a wheel, like myself, so hopefully we can actually have some good pace for once, because yeah, throughout the season my race pace has been pretty solid and my strategies have been good, but the quali pace especially has been really struggling. So hopefully we can address that at the circuit, which should favour me the most out of any of them. But into practice, and the deltas were fairly okay, especially this one, the tyre wear test was fairly good, although I couldn't get purple because yeah, just how many corners there are really. But we got green, which is 30 points, which I can happily take. And yeah, into race strategy, this is one of the only ones I could actually do as well, and we're only just going to get the delta, and it's only 30 points as well, so yeah, pretty difficult. Obviously no straights where you can just boost all the deltas on this track really, so yeah, unfortunately not many resource points there, but straight into qualifying, and my primary aim, I wanted to be as close to the front as possible, obviously, but we struggled to get into Q3 on some occasions this season, so obviously that would be ideal, but going pretty wide there through to back and through the swimming pool. I've been very strong through this last sector compared to AI all through practice and into qualifying now. Q1 on the soft tyres, locking up the front right a little bit there, but into Raskas, keeping it away from the barriers nicely. Not as close to the walls I could be, so there's definitely more time. It's pretty much a banker lap. Obviously Q1 should be fairly easy to get through, especially when we go purple, when Albon's already set a time there. And by the end of the session, it was 13th. Luckily, only one lap needed. My teammate Science was actually fastest out of everyone in that first session, so maybe myself, I've got a bit of work to do to catch up with him, but 9.4, definitely a lot more time to find on that. And all that matters is that we're through to Q2. And yeah, through the what's this called, the Nova chicane, that's the one, and yeah, pretty clean there, and through to back now, and we're once again slightly wide, not really on that inside wall as much as you could be, but I'm purple in the sector, it says. I'm not sure who's set the purple times so far, but through to back, through the swimming pool section now, and into Raskas, keep it nice and clean once again, away from the barriers, and opening up the anti-nose corner as much as we can, and not a little bit of sliding there on the exit, but up to the line. Is it going to be better than my Q1 time? And it just about is. 9.1 this time, so 3/10. I'm actually faster than Bottas at it. And I think for the first time this season, we've got into Q3 on one lap, so that's pretty good, and I'm very happy with that. Only half a second off the fastest time there, but into 7th, which is the important thing. And now we get to do 2 laps in the session, because we have 2 sets of softs. And this is the end of the first lap, coming to Raskas now, and a little bit wide there on entry, but through the last corner, opening up as much as possible. Very close to the inside wall there, almost hitting the front wing on the right hand side there, but no. And up to the line, it's going to be a 9.3, which puts me in 4th place at the minute, 2/10 off my teammate Science. But we've definitely got time to find. This is it, the final lap of the qualifying session, and taking a lot of curb on the inside to set turn 1 there, but we're about a 10th down already, so not the ideal start, but that was definitely time to find on this lap. It wasn't ideal. We saw a 9.1 in the Q2, and that was a 9.3, so keeping it as close to the walls as possible. Really committed here, and down towards the Massenet corner. Second gear, very close to the inside wall, into the Lowe's hairpin. First gear, getting it nicely rotated over that curb. Hamilton goes fastest with a 9.0, so there's definitely potential to beat that if we get a good lap in. And through Portier now into the tunnel, very close to the inside wall again, and now opening up the exit for the longest full throttle section of the track. And it's coming down towards the Nova chicane, braking at 70 meters, bringing it nicely so down, and a very high speed through there, and compared to what it used to be. And we're 7/10 up now on the previous lap, and if we can just keep this lap clean, then we're going to be on pole position surely. 3/10 up on my teammate Science, and 9.0 is the fastest so far. Really carrying a load of speed through here. Now we're 7/10 up now. We're on for a mid-8 if we can keep this up, but through Raskas maybe losing it a little bit, and try and keep it nice and clean through anti-nose, and no wheel spin this time, and up to the line. It's surely going to be pole position unless someone can beat me from behind, and it's I think it was an 8.6 there, and that left me on pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix. It says 4th, but that's not real, it's 1st place, and we're on pole by half a second, and that lap felt incredibly good, and I was so happy with that. My first pole ever in this career mode, the Lotus's first pole since I think the 60s probably, and yeah, Science getting a good result in 4th, with Hamilton and Verstappen splitting us, and I was very happy with that. Of course, starting on the softs because of Q2. Getting through to Q3 on the softs, but we try and do mediums. The one stop is obviously the most viable strategy, and underfueling the car quite a lot. But here we are getting onto the grid for the 5 red lights, and I've got the best seat in the house for the Monaco Grand Prix. Try and keep it nice and leading into turn 1 hopefully. and the lights are on for a while, but they're finally away, and we're trying to get a good start here. And Hamilton's bogged down a little on the left, so we're easily going to have the lead into turn 1. Braking pretty early there because I'm really not sure where to brake with no line, starting the race from there. But Hamilton's going to have a bit of a chance. He's closing very quickly up the hill towards Casino Square, and just felt holding him off. And through the next section, yeah, nothing that the AI can do through here. And we've got to bolt away as soon as possible here, and down towards Massenet, second gear, close to the inside wall there. Obviously, just trying to not get damage really. The AI are not going to go for any aggressive moves because they're AI, and yeah, they don't do anything around Monaco really. So as long as I just keep it out of the barriers, we should be fairly good for this first stint. By the end of lap 1, through that final sector, I absolutely nailed it, and we're now 1.5 seconds clear. We've absolutely bolted away from the rest of the pack, setting the fastest lap as it is at the end of lap 1, obviously. And Hamilton is 1.1 seconds back already, so very nice to see. But unfortunately, by lap 6, I started dropping off the pace a little bit. Hamilton got into his groove a bit, but he's still outside the DRS window just about, and through the tunnel now. Hamilton nowhere near close enough for a move. You can see the field spread already. There's about a second separating each car really, and through into the Nova chicane, almost in outside wall, but taking the curb nicely. And Ricciardo's actually out of session, and that's caused a safety car, so that's going to be very bit of a dilemma really. My tyres look okay, and I really didn't want to get caught in traffic, because if you pit now, obviously the people starting on mediums and hards will absolutely stay out. So I elected to stay out as well, just to take the track position. Hamilton stayed out as well, but Verstappen and Sainz both pitted for hard tyres actually. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But they're going to come out in like 12th, 13th place. And yeah, on the restart now, I'm still leading, and you can see Hamilton and Bottas stayed out. Everyone else in the top 10 pitted for hards. So we've got Giovinazzi and Stroll, the next 2 cars behind. And on the restart, pretty standard stuff. No way is Hamilton getting past me there. And he's actually got a very good exit up the hill though, so we're going to have to use a bit of ERS to keep him behind. That's exactly what we do. But yeah, the likes of Verstappen and Sainz are now stuck in the traffic of the midfield runners, so I've not got much life left in these tyres, but in the next 5-6 laps I've really got to push as hard as possible, try and break in the gap to my teammates Sainz and Verstappen in the Red Bull. But through Raskas now, lap 11, and we've done a little bit of a gap building behind. You see Giovinazzi's 3 seconds back already, and it's going to be a massive train. But Hamilton has pit this lap actually, and that's going to drop him well out the order, because he's going to surely come out in last place because the safety car like bottled everyone up. So it's going to be very difficult for him to make progress. And 1 lap later, before seeing if it was any benefit to pit, they're going to pit Bottas as well. So yeah, I've now got a 3.5 second lead on Giovinazzi, and I just need to keep going as far as I can on these tyres, and hopefully we'll obviously pitting onto mediums, which is going to benefit us compared to the hard drivers. But it's going to be very interesting to see how his strategy plays out, because we've got the Mercedes to think about, and also Verstappen and Sainz. And my tyres were pretty much done by lap 14, so I had to pit. Giovinazzi and Stroll started closing on me, which is not what you want to see. But into the pit lane now, you can see in the minimap, the second Red Bull is Verstappen, who's on hards, and Sainz is just behind him still. And they're going to be in 6th and 8th place, so I'm going to be miles behind them. They're still in traffic, of course, but the hard tyres seem to be working alright, it looks like. But a 2.4 second stop, and crucially, where are the Mercedes cars? We're going to come out close to De Vries. Russell goes past, so does Ocon. But crucially, so we're going to come out ahead of Sebastian Vettel, and I think that's Perez, and the 2 Mercedes cars are at the back of the pack. And luckily, we've managed to stay ahead of them. I thought the undercut was going to get me with how slow I was going, but luckily not. And the pace of the back markers have really cost the Mercedes here, and we've got to get on with it now, try and get through this traffic as soon as possible. I'm not sure who's going to the end and who isn't, but yeah, some of these cars will be going to the end, so we've got to get through it as quickly as possible. Verstappen and Sainz are still the ones I want to be beating, so straight away on the back of Gasly, going round the outside of the hairpin there, and up the inside into this next section. And we've done that move straight away in half a lap already, getting past the AlphaTauri driver. And these medium tyres are going to switch on very quickly, and we've just got to go for it as soon as we can. We've not got much fuel to play with, but it should be okay, because the pace is really, really good, especially through the Mills and final sector. And on Esteban Ocon now, he's getting held up quite a bit by Russell and De Vries, who both haven't stopped yet. I think Ocon has stopped at the start of the race on the hards, off the softs onto the hards, sorry. And through the swimming pool section now, really good exit here, and into Raskas, braking nice and late, going to take a bit of a switchback line, try and line him one up into the anti-nose corner, and Ocon has to leave a space on the inside. We're going to send it down the inside, and that's a pretty clean move up into 15th place. Obviously the position is very strange at the minute, because some of the cars have to pit again, some of them don't, but now we've got the 2 Williams cars who we've got to clear as soon as possible. So go really aggressive down the inside of George Russell in the Williams car, and down the inside of the hairpin. Pretty standard move. He's actually going to try and keep out the inside there, so I've got to leave a bit of space on the exit, but through the Portier corner we've got the move done and dusted into 14th place. And you see De Vries is the next car, so we've got to try and do exactly the same thing as with Ocon and De Vries going even slower than Ocon did, so going very aggressive. He's turning me a bit, my former teammate, clearly a bit salty that we sacked him for the lowest, and now he's in the lowest pace car on the grid. But either way, we've got the move done. And now I got onto the back of Charles Leclerc at its home Grand Prix, clipping the inside wall there, luckily not to get damaged. And Leclerc is going to be a bit more difficult to pass than the other cars because, of course, the Ferrari is pretty similar pace to my Lotus. So, but can we make something happen into the hairpin? Once again, we go really, really aggressive down the inside. He's getting hemmed in a bit by Delatraz, my other former teammate. And we've got that move done and dusted straight up into 12th place. And we've got a bit of a train here behind, I think it's Romain Grosjean in the Haas car. And we've got to try and get on with it now. And Delatraz is my next target. And loads of oversteer through the exit here, almost losing it into the wall, but can we make something happen as well? Delatraz going so slowly on those mediums. I think he started on them, so yeah, he's going to have super dead tyres at this point, but overtake mode down the pit straight, really try and make an aggressive move here. Is turn one, looks to the outside line, he's going defensive, braking stupidly late. I've just about done that. What an incredible move that was, and we're running outside completely of the AlphaTauri driver and up into 11th place, but that move was incredible, if I do say so myself. And yeah, straight away moving on to the back of Magnussen and Grosjean, the two former teammates. Magnussen, of course, moved to Alpha for this season, but try and line one up all the way around the outside of the Alfa Romeo driver into the Raskas corner. Grosjean also peels into the pits, so 2 for the price of 1 there. And we've done that move lovely, and we're getting through this traffic so quickly, and the Mercedes are nowhere near me anymore, and neither's Leclerc, to be honest. But now Giovinazzi, who we were close to before my pit stop, has been running in clear air, and he's actually jumped me on the overcut. So I've got to clear Giovinazzi, otherwise he's going to be net, like this is for net position, he's going to the end for sure. And I'm going extremely wide into Raskas, but going to maybe think about him on the inside, but no, has to think better of that, and getting massive oversteer on the exit, and that's going to really cost my run down to turn 1. And we're going to have to spend another lap trying to catch up to him. So two laps later this is, and Giovinazzi once again thinking about the inside, but no, got to be careful, don't want to lose the front wing or anything. And now through the final corner. And all this time, the likes of Verstappen and Sainz are getting away in the lead. They are the 2 leading cars at the minute. Stroll peels into the pit, so this is now for the 3rd place, and everyone's going to the end. But meanwhile, down the inside, really, really late on the brakes. But unfortunately, Giovinazzi's held it around the outside and held that position. He's in a net 3rd place in the Alfa Romeo, which is ridiculous because that car is nowhere near this sort of pace. But he's made it work on the strategy. And now into the Raskas corner. And once again, trying to land a switchback move and maybe think about it up the inside. We're going to go for it down the inside, and he's going to turn him here again, as De Vries did. But he's got that move done. Stupidly aggressive, really, but I'll happily take that position. Up into 3rd place. I mean, I've got 10 seconds to catch Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, the 2 leading cars, and this is for the race win. I definitely have the pace. We've seen I qualified on pole by half a second, so a few minutes later we're going to ask my engineer about Sainz.
Gap to car in front is 8.5 seconds. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 17 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:13.6. You're gaining by a full second per lap. Good job.
So yeah, a second a lap we're closing at the minute, and 1 lap later it's 6.5 now the gap. So if we can just keep this up, we've got 14 laps to go. Can we close on them? But actually, that's going to go out the window as the safety car is back out again. So obviously we're all going to stay out. But yeah, that's going to wipe out their advantage, and we're going to be right in the back of the pair of them to the end of this race. And it's going to be about 10 laps to go. Verstappen is leading, Carlos Sainz in 2nd, to myself in 3rd. It's a double podium in a minute, but we want more than that. And I don't think Sainz is going to be able to win on the same age tyres as the lead to, as Verstappen, sorry. So I've got to go for it, try and get past Sainz as soon as possible and get on the back of Max Verstappen. But it's going to be so difficult. Obviously, we saw in Zandvoort, I let Sainz through because he was on better tyres, but I don't think that's going to happen because, unfortunately, it doesn't work the other way with the AI. So he's not going to let me through. We've got to do it the old-fashioned way. And yeah, straight away on the back of Sainz on 1 lap later, lap 30 this is. And maybe think about wanting to do a hairpin, but the other, obviously, making moves on other AI, you're not so worried about if they get damaged, really, if I'm honest. But against your teammate, you don't want to throw away points for no reason. So got to be a little more cautious compared to some other cars. But that's going to keep me from sending it at any opportunity. But yeah, into the tunnel, we're not close enough into the Rascat, into a Nova chicane, sorry. And break it very late though, and can we make anything happen on the exit maybe? But he's going so slow, we're just pushing him around the circuit. Verstappen's already 2 seconds clear, so we've got to clear Sainz as soon as possible. We're just wasting laps. It's lap 33 now, I think we've lost 4 laps already. So yeah, I've got to just go for one of them at some point on Sainz. I need to just go for it, because otherwise the win is going to be out of the question. And into the Massonnet corner, absolutely sending one down the inside of Sainz. Very aggressive. Luckily, neither of us got damaged. But yeah, he probably should have left me a bit more space, if I'm honest, as the team leader and the team owner. But either way, I'm through into 2nd place, and now we've got 6 laps to go to try and get onto the back of Max Verstappen and make something happen. Obviously, overtaking is a very different thing to catching in Monaco. But a few laps later, I have actually caught him with 4 laps to go now. and the gap to Sainz dropped to 3 seconds. So yeah, my pace was definitely superior. Verstappen's going so slowly through Raskas here, and I'm absolutely pushing him, but loads of oversteer means that I'm not going to have a chance down in towards turn 1, which is a bit unfortunate. And that's going to waste another lap, really, because there's not really opportunities to overtake at this track. So yeah, lap 37 now, not long to go. We just got 2 laps after this one, and into the same place I sent it on Sainz. Not quite close enough to send it on Verstappen, but he's going so slowly. Obviously, they're hard tyres they put on at the end of lap 6, so they're 31 laps old already. And my tyres, I think, were on lap 15, so I've only done half the race, really. And they're looking pretty fine, but through Portier now, and not really close enough on the exit, unfortunately. So yeah, another opportunity wasted down the into the tunnel. 1 lap later, we have to wait another lap, unfortunately. And yeah, second gear taking a lot of inside curve there. Verstappen made a small mistake. Could this be it? We're going to use a bit of overtake mode down the inside into to back, and can we make something happen here? Almost contact. I think there was contact actually, and unfortunately Verstappen manages to stay ahead. But yeah, I gave it a go, and unfortunately not quite close enough, but we've still got another chance. It's lap 39 out of 39 now. Not close enough for a send here, but we're just pushing him through these corners. It's so frustrating, because I know that if I was in the lead, I would have absolutely bolted clear. But try to look maybe around the outside of hairpin. Can we make something happen here? But no, a little bit of oversteer means that that opportunity has gone, and can we get a good exit out of Portier into the tunnel and maybe make something happen into the chicane? But I don't think we're quite close enough, and unfortunately we weren't. And then through the swimming pool, is it all over? We got one more opportunity maybe on the exit at Raskas. We've made it work a few times, so lining up a switchback move. First gear for the extra rotation, second gear for the good traction, sending one down the inside of the final corner, clipping the inside wall. It's a very aggressive move. We made it work, and that was the final corner of the race, and we've just about made it happen, and we've won the Monaco Grand Prix from absolutely nowhere. I think we were a net about 13th place at one point in that race, but we've come back through, made so many overtakes, and that last one was so dramatic, and we've made it work into the race winning position, and stolen it at the death from Max Verstappen. And it's unbelievable scenes. It's the first win since Brazil. I think it's the first double podium for the team as well, unless we've gone earlier in the season I've forgotten about. But yeah, such a good result there. And 40 points. Mercedes actually, because of that botched strategy, scored 0 points. So the Constructors' Championship has closed up massively. So has the drivers, because the Mercedes cars are so far clear. But myself and Sainz and Verstappen actually getting such a big haul of points compared to them. But I was so happy with that, pushing really, really hard, and we've just about made it work. A bit aggressive move maybe on Verstappen, but these things have to happen at some point. If you're not going to go for it, then what's the point of being a racing driver? But yeah, just about won the race there. Giovinazzi doing an amazing result in 4th. Same with Stroll in 5th, actually. And yeah, you can see the Mercedes cars, Hamilton in 13th and Bottas in 15th. So they just couldn't make the same moves that I could in that middle part of the race. But you can see the championship, we're up into 3rd place, 22 points off the lead, 18 points off Bottas now. So the championship is well and truly back on, as it looks pretty much over after the last race. But the constructors as well, we're clearly in 2nd place now. It's so much gap to Red Bull, and we're only 56 points off Mercedes, which seems like a lot, but you never know how quickly things can change. We just gained 40 on them then. So if we can keep that up, then maybe we can make something happen later in the season. But yeah, that's going to be this video. I hope you haven't really enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JY83, and I will see you next time.